Hi, welcome to Educators with Oil podcast. I am your hostess, Ronette Branham, here to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today is back to recording because I have parent-teacher conferences at the time of that we normally go live. So I'm recording now early, and you're going to see it at 6 o'clock. So thank you for joining me. In this episode today, we're going to tackle common frustrations many teachers face. I'm going to read the description. So when I'm looking down, just know I'm reading the description. Face when their needs are not fully met by their schools or districts. I'm going to explore how teachers can find renewed purpose and joy by using their unique gifts to meet the needs of their students. I think too, when you're meeting the needs of your students, your needs will be met. So you won't be so frustrated. This is so frustrated that, my needs aren't being met. And we wondering why we're so frustrated. So helping them progress through Maslow's hierarchy of needs from basic skills to a sense of belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Discover how, despite systemic limitations, teachers can experience recognition and fulfillment by focusing on their lasting impact in the classroom. Tune in to learn strategies for reconnecting with the joy of teaching and reaching self-actualization as an educator. So that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're going to talk about today because, I found out teachers are frustrated for whatever reason we're frustrated for. Sometimes we're frustrated and we don't even understand what's happening. Why we are feeling so frustrated and anxious at work. When somebody could say something small to us and we feel like, stop talking to me, that kind of stuff. But why? I was thinking, I did a little clip the other day when it was talking about, I was talking about how uh, our needs aren't being met. And then if we meet the needs of the students, I think we'll get that joy and we'll feel like we're doing something. We'll feel like we'll get that recognition that we're looking for. Sometimes we don't get that recognition, and then it's like, what's happening here? Uh, People are not listening to us. People are not accepting us for who we are. That type of things. So um, I do understand that we have many struggles that we face. You know, feel like our own needs aren't being met, as well as the needs of the students. Because sometimes if our needs aren't met, we're frustrated because we are feeling like we don't have everything the student needs. Students can't progress. The students can't get what they need because we don't have it. We don't have it to give. We need just say something as simple as paper or a curriculum that works for us, works for our students. We're like, this is not working. Kids can't get their needs met. Uh, Students can't read, and we're upset because how do I teach? This is second grade. I'm a second grade teacher. You may be third grade because third grade teachers are facing the same thing. They have to be if we're pushing those second graders up to third grade, and we know they can't read. So imagine being that teacher as well. Being a third grade, fourth grade teacher, and your students can't read. That doesn't even make sense. So we're, you know, frustrated with that kind of stuff. And that's just something that I'm seeing and I'm noticing. And so I just want to let you know that I understand that that affects the morale of the district, the school, the classroom, when you feel underappreciated and under recognized. When we feel that way, we feel like uh, we're not being appreciated. The district is not appreciating us. They act like we should be doing more, or we shouldn't complain. We should be glad that we have a job, because I had that. I have had someone say to me, my mom would have said, like, about to they got cut off, because what would your mom have said if she's teaching this, if she's teaching what I'm teaching? Well, what she say? What she say? This is great. You should have her in this classroom when she's frustrated and it's not working. She should just be grateful to have a job. Yes, I should be grateful to have a job, but at the same time, things need to be happening. The needs, things that I need to produce in the classroom should be there, should be, right, readily available. So that's just something. And then, you know, with the hot Maslow's hierarchy, we have that bottom tier where we have our, uh, our needs being met, right? Our basic needs. And so if we feel like we're on the bottom, how can we self-actualize? How can we know work and who we are? That seems like, but I put to you that we are up there where we're being recognized. We just have to see who's recognizing us and what's happening. Because for one thing, you can recognize yourself. You know what you're doing in your classroom. Your kids, your students are learning. I had a joy today. It was so crazy because it wasn't even anything. It was like if you would have walked in, you would say, "Well, why is she praising this child for that?" It didn't make sense. So we all know that I have do bilingual English language learners. Let's leave it like that because they're all not all are bilingual. Uh, most of them are not, or they're English language learners, so they're learning the language. So I have these spelling words. You can see them behind me. Long O, right? This is what I'm going over today. So I came to something today. I'm like, I don't care if you can spell the word or not. Just know this word is float. This is long O. When you see OA, that word is float. So I got down and I put a picture up, and they're like, "What is float in Spanish?" And they're telling me what it is until they're like, "It's a finger on a foot." I'm like, "Yeah, that's how you say it in Spanish. Dedo de pie, right? So that's a finger on a foot because dedo are fingers, but we don't say that. We call it toes, even though we call these fingers, right? But that's how they describe it because that's how it's said in Spanish. So I get down to the word roast, and I put the picture up, roast. I put the pictures of roast. The first thing a student said roast was um when you're making fun of people and you're roasting somebody. I said, yeah, that is a form of roasting. That is roast when you make fun of somebody and it's funny and everybody understands it's a joke, right? Um, Whether it's based in truth or not, but everybody knows it's a joke. So that is a roast. But another roast is meat. And I put up the picture of meat. I put up the roast, actual roast and roast beef and whatever. So, and I got down and when we get to the word and I'm showing the students and I'm saying, well, make sure you know when you see this word is roast, right? This word is roast. And at the same time, it's roast. It is, you know what it is. What is roast? And so we got to it. And with so one little student who never, I mean, never, ever raises his hand, never, ever answers a question. He will color, draw, whatever he could do. He says he's bored. He's bored because he doesn't understand me. For instance, when he comes in the morning time, I say good morning. He has to think and process it. Then he says good morning. It takes him a couple of seconds. And then I say, how are you? And then he's like, no, how are you? He's like, he doesn't understand. And he really try to understand. And I say it a lot. Like, this means, ¿cómo estás? And I say, ¿cómo estás? Bien. So then I say, ¿cómo estás? Is how are you? In English, how are you is ¿cómo estás? And so he's like, okay. But every day I say that to him. I say, how are you? And he's like, he doesn't answer. He doesn't answer till I say, ¿cómo estás? Because he's like waiting for me to translate that. He's not even going to try to know what it says, remember it, none of that. Right. So today I was calling on a little girl because she said she's going to tell us what this, right? And so I get to her, and then he raised his hand. And I was like, wait, just wait. Let me please. And then he says, carne, right? And I said, oh my God, that was like joy because he never, ever, ever, I mean, this is November. He never, ever answers a question. Never. And he knew that roast was carne. And he understood that's what that was. And then he answered the question. And I was, oh my God, I got joy. Even today, after that, when we had math, we were sitting down and I knew he understand when I do the tens and the ones when we're adding 2-digit equations. So now we're up to 3-digit, but he doesn't do it unless it's me and him one-on-one, right? So today I gave him, we were answering math equations and we had the drawings. So I worked through 2 with them. And then the third one, okay, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. He drew, he wrote tens, he wrote ones, he did it. For the second one also. So he understood. And so he got the answers correct. And he had joy. I had joy. We had joy. I met his need of him answering a 3-digit math equation. That just was so. Again, I say you have to recognize yourself. Not saying all the time. Sometimes you want somebody to recognize you. Yes, the students are recognizing that you're teaching them. I told you before, last year I had a student who she was frustrated all day, every day. I was not meeting her needs. She was frustrated with me. I couldn't understand what was happening. And then once I started meeting her needs, she was happy. She was good. She was like, okay, she liked me then after that. Because she didn't like me because I wasn't helping her. I wasn't meeting her needs. I didn't know what to do for her. Now I understand her. And I saw when her frustration happened, it was right after phonics turned into reading because she could do the phonics, but she couldn't read. And she knew she couldn't read. That was just what she said. I can't read. She didn't. So I was able to meet her needs after that. So meeting the needs is recognition because you recognize that this is happening. The student's going to thrive. You're going to help them progress through these levels academically and personally. You're meeting their needs of belonging. They belong in your classroom and you're talking to your students. They feel like they belong. They feel like this is your class. I remember at the beginning of the year, there's students who didn't want to come to my class. They didn't. They wanted to stay with the Spanish speaking teacher. Now they're like, are we going? Like, no, you're not. Okay. We're not going to change today. We change every day, but there's like today we didn't because we had work to do. So they're upset about that. So just knowing that you're being recognized, you're being appreciated. You're being appreciated by your students. So just know that and know that our roles extend beyond that basic instruction. We feel sense of belonging for our students. We help them uh, reach that sense of belonging. That's way up on the third level, I think, of the Maslow's hierarchy. Esteem, they're feeling proud of themselves because they're learning and they're actually learning. They came in here not knowing two-digit addition. Now they're doing two-digit addition with 2 and 3 numbers. So to add 28 plus 10 plus 12 plus 9, and they get an answer and they know how to do it. That's making them feel proud of themselves. They're happy. They're esteeming themselves highly because I can do this, and then we're helping them explore the idea of self-actualization. Who am I? Who am I in this classroom? I'm somebody who is learning. I'm somebody who's coming to school, connecting with my friends, my peers, my teachers, and I can understand. I could help people around the school. Somebody needs to go to the nurse. I can walk them. I could be a messenger because I could know where the office is. So they're happy. They're esteeming themselves highly. They are. And so not only are we helping the students progress through these levels, but we're also recognizing too that we ourselves are climbing that hierarchy because we're meeting our needs. I don't have the hierarchy up. I had it up and then I can't even find it. But because of who we are, we know that we are educators. We know. So we're up there to that self. We feel we have that belonging, that sense of esteem because we are doing our job and we're meeting the needs. So feel great about that. Right. And then this is who you're purposed to be. Your purpose to be a teacher and educator. So to say you're not self-actualized, we are touching that if we are not meeting there. We are not on the top. We have that feeling loved. We have our families. Whether you don't or not, you're loved by your students because now I don't know what happens in the high school, in the middle school, in the higher grades. I don't know if you teach students like you or not. I know there are things where they hate that teacher. I don't know. But I do know I teach second grade. These students love me. So because of that, I'm meeting that. My needs are met because I'm working, I'm making money, I'm able to pay bills, I'm able to get back and forth to school. So my basic needs are met. That self-actualization, I am here. I am purposed to be a teacher. I am purposed to even be right here sitting in front of you. So I am self-actualized or touching it. Maybe I'm not all the way there because, you're always growing. You're here. The reason we're still here is because we still The reason we're still here is because we still have work to do. So we are not perfect. We're not perfect. We have not reached the pinnacle. Maybe you have. Maybe you have reached the pinnacle. I'm up there. I'm touching the bottom of that self-actualization because I know who I am, know why I'm here. I know I'm here to help you to understand who you are and what you can do. I'm here to let my students know who they are and what they can do. That's what I'm here to do. So to say that we are reaching it because of our profession is an understatement. Know that you have been going up and down that ladder. That is not even a ladder, that pyramid, and use your gifts to focus on your unique talent. We're going to focus on our unique talents and gifts that allow us to connect with our students. So we're not just with our students just because we know how to teach. We're connected with our students because we are gifted to do that. We actually are, because if you don't connect with your students, it's a hard road ahead. So knowing that you're gifted to connect with these students that you are sitting in front of, whether you want to teach that subject or not, if you are using your gift, you're going to touch those students, you're going to meet their needs, and you're going to connect with them. That is a gift and a talent that's unique. We talked about that last week. We talked about that. We talked about that when we had Darrell Williams Jr. on the show, and you are unique. So you're connecting with them in a meaningful way through your creative teaching methods, through innovative lesson plans, and relationship building. So even if you're struggling with the lesson plans, even if you're struggling with the creative teaching methods, you're still connecting on a personal level with your students, building relationship. You are. The parents like you because of what their children are doing because of you. So that's just something that I don't care what anybody says. You're walking in your gift. It's going to make room for you. I know we talked about that last week. So meet the students at their current level, helping them progress, especially in the foundational skills of reading, writing, and work and math. Create, guess what? A deeper sense of purpose, feeling like I have great self-esteem because I know I'm doing what I'm called to do. So that I don't know I don't know how else to say it, but that is providing a deep sense of purpose, knowing that you're teaching students, you're educating students. Not everybody could do that. You have seen plenty of videos, TikTok videos of parents trying to teach their students, and they're like, "You can't be this dumb, right?" That kind of stuff. Parents are doing it. They're like, "Come on now, I'm trying to tell you, you know what 1+1 is, or 10+10. Come on, stop acting like that." And they don't have the skill, the gift, the skill or the gift or the talent to educate their students in that way, their children in that way. So understand that you are gifted to do what you do. You're walking in purpose. So we don't have to feel like all frustrated that because we don't have everything that we need. We have everything that we need because it's inside of us to educate our students. We can say what we want to say. We could act like, okay, they're not supplying pencils. They're not supplying paper. They're not supplying whatever. The curriculum is like missing some pieces. But inside of you, when you have what you can educate your students with, it doesn't have to be all the things you have don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have every single thing, that you think you should have, because it might not be. I remember a person told me before I was frustrated about our social studies. She's like, "You do have a social studies program." I said, "No, we don't." She said, "Yeah, you do. It might not be up to your standards, but you have something." And I was like, "Oh, that's it, right? That's it." So I'm frustrated because this is what I call garbage when it's enough. Even if it's nothing to me, it's something. So, just knowing that I had to um, supplement it, and I could do it because I loved social studies or whatever the subject was, that it worked. So just find joy as you witness the growth of your students. I'm telling you today, I'm high fiving the little kid. I'm high fiving. I'm like, "Oh my God, you did that. You did that." And the little girl who had her hand raised, I was like, That's okay, right? You understand what just happened? She was like, yeah, yeah. Cause I'm like, okay. He got that. He never answers questions. So that's something. So so celebrate the small victories with your students, because that is going to foster a sense of achievement for both the student and for you. I feel like I did something today. All I did was show the beef. All I did was show the word. This is a long A word. O-A. O-A together makes the sound O. So you know the sound R and S-T, you know all that. So there, this word is roast. You don't have to know how to spell it if you don't want. If by Friday you can't spell it, that's fine with me. But when you look at that word, know that that word is roast, right? Know that word is roast. And you could be able to tell me what it is. Broke. Tell me what it is. The broke that came up to us today, it was so funny because the broke that came up was broke. It showed a wallet. A man opened his wallet, broke. And I had to find in Google somebody with something broken. And the little boy had all these broken things, broken toys. So that worked. But it took me a minute to find broke as for my students, not to teach them broke with no money, because I don't know how that works. So just celebrate that small. And again, I beat to my notes way at the beginning, talk about self-actualization, because even in challenging circumstances, you could fulfill your potential. And that's what I just been saying. Fulfill your potential in teaching the students. You have the potential to educate each and every student in your class. Self-actualization. Like you are, I don't know how else to say it. You are meeting their needs. You feeling what you're here to do. So reflect. If you have to reflect on how you can achieve self-actualization by contributing to the growth and development of others, your students, me, for my students, and for you. I'm trying to contribute to the growth and development of teachers and students. Guess what? That's gonna help me and my identity and my purpose. Help me with that. So as I'm doing it, I was listening to somebody today, and he was talking about your gift to make room, but only if you're using your gift. So your gift is not just the door's going to fly open and you're not even using your gift. How does that work? Because if I'm teaching, people are going to know I teach. People are going to ask me, can you tutor my child? Can you help me, my child? Because I know, or can you help me? I'm trying to pass this GED. I'm trying to get this. Can you help me? People do that. My child is suffering in school. Can you help? That's my gift, making room for me. You understand? People are going to come to me asking me for tips and strategies for anything. I even went to ask somebody, not because I couldn't do it, but because I think it was more today, this morning, I asked somebody, what are they doing in small group when you have these students who don't even know their letters? Like, how does this work for you? And you're like, well, you just gotta meet them at their needs, get down there with them, teach them the letters, go over the letters, go over the letter sounds, do it. And it's not like I didn't do it and I wasn't doing it. Just maybe I think I was feeling a little frustrated because what is this? What is this? I'm a second grade teacher, not a kindergarten teacher, not a pre-K. Pre-K, we did that in pre-K. My students in pre-K, they used to know the sounds of the letters. They knew their letters. They can make cat. They can write cat. Words like that, 3-letter syllable words. So just know that there's somebody else out there to help you feel recognized besides your administration. Don't worry about that because your administration is there for you. Uh, also, while the systemic recognition may be lacking, because I keep going back and forth, and I already said this, and I beat because I knew what I was going to say. I started saying it early, right? So, teachers, you can find a sense of esteem. You find esteem and a sense of status by recognizing your own contributions and building. Oh, I forgot I was going to say this. Building a community. That's my community. I need you to go onto Facebook, join our community, and it is called Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham on Facebook. Google us, Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham. That for a time that was the title of the podcast, but I had to get back to my roots in order for my purpose to be fulfilled, Educators with Oil podcast. But at the same time, we have that community of educators from all over, all walks of life that are joining in, and we're going to connect as empowered educators. We're going to empower each other, talk to each other, discuss strategies and ideas, and help one another and be there for one another. So go to Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham on Facebook. There's a Facebook community. So if you're not on Facebook, join Facebook just so we can connect. I think that would be a great idea. So connect with like-minded people, people who are doing the same thing with you, where you could share, you could vent, you could love, you could help, you could support, all that in the community. That is just, we could grow from that. We could develop. That's just something that we can do. It's ours that we can talk about, work in, and, and get together with people who are doing the same thing that we're doing, educating students. And also, I have this podcast. So it's good that you're tuning in, knowing that you could find somebody who's doing the same thing, who has the same struggles or has had the same struggles. Then we had so many guests. We're going to get more guests. Haven't been looking, but I know I have a few that are coming up. So I have some people who are coming. I have one person who is the secretary treasurer of New Jersey Educators Association, and she's been a teacher. I'm hearing things. That's why I keep looking, because I'm in here alone. So, little critters might want to come out because they're not used to anybody being here this time of day. So just know that we have people coming on here or have been on here who have strategies and ideas and support for you. So many people left their information that you can contact. We have had health people in the health field. We have people who were strategists. We have had people who mental health, all that. Just we had at the college level people. We just have what superintendent was on the show talking about self-care. We had a few self-care experts on here, and just know. And then you also can build a small network within your school. I don't suggest it just be to vent, but to offer strategies. It doesn't help if you're just venting. It helps if you're venting and you offer strategies, you offer help, you offer suggestions. So with your colleagues, celebrate wins with your colleagues, right? Come together for some more support among your colleagues. Just build a small network to encourage each other. You can do something like, every day I'm going to give somebody some wise words every single day, or some motivation or some affirmations, whatever. So just know that we have an impact. We impact our students in a great way in our students' lives. We are creating lasting change that goes far beyond our frustrations. We can be frustrated all we want, but the impact we're having on our students, the impact you're having on your students, goes beyond those frustrations, because you're meeting their needs. They need to learn how to read. They need to learn how to add. They need to learn how to write in order to live in society, because you really don't have to know how to do anything else but to be able to write. If you need to write something, write a letter, write a proposal, anything, you need to know how to write. You need to know how to read. If somebody gives you a contract or anything, tells you to do anything, they need to know how to read. They need to know how to add and subtract, right? Multiply and divide. Anything beyond that, that's career based, or based on what their job entails. Because I don't need to know. I don't need to know algebra, even though kind of I do, like apples. It depends how you that. I call that multiplication anyway. But just to say it's multiplication, we got it. So know that you're creating lasting change that goes beyond any frustration that you have as it relates to your career as a teacher, what's happening in your classroom, anything that you come frustrated with because they may give you something new to do. Once you get in that classroom, you educate your students and you see that they're being educated, that is lasting. There, you're creating lifelong learners, creating people who can read, who can write, who can add and subtract and multiply and divide. That is amazing. We don't give ourselves enough credit. That is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. And while the system doesn't fully recognize us, our contributions, the ultimate recognition comes from who? Students who you are empowered and inspired to teach. We are empowered and inspired by their learning. I know, I'm telling you, when I look at this little boy that I had today, I was just so excited. I had to grab him again for math because he's learning. If you see him every day sitting here and he doesn't want to do anything, and he's sitting with me in math and he's getting it. I have to go over it some more and more. He's getting it. He can add, track. He can add. We're doing addition right now. He can add 2-digit numbers, 3 and 4 2-digit numbers. When he doesn't do anything all day, that's amazing. You know how empowering and inspired I am? That helps me go on and go to the next child, and the next child, look, oh, so I didn't get you today, but I'm gonna get you tomorrow. We're gonna sit together and we're gonna work, right? It's just amazing that could happen. So just know that these successes with our students reaffirm our purpose. Know that even if your district doesn't recognize you, doesn't affirm you, that you can affirm yourself, and you're being affirmed every single day by meeting the needs of the students, walking in your purpose. You are in self-actualization, and you're helping the students reach that point as well. They have great self-esteem because they're getting the answers. My students love for me to get, yay, oh my God, you did that. They love that. They are excited. You watch them smiling, walking away. So just understand that is. So with that, remember you're teaching with a purpose. Remember, educator empowerment is you educating your students. Classroom impact, the impact that we're having on our students is amazing. It's something that I don't know. You just can't buy anywhere. You just can't buy it. So with all that, I just want to thank you and remind you again that I have the community educators, the podcast Educators with Oil. That's on. You can find it on Amazon, Apple Podcasting. You could find it loads of places. Just Google your favorite podcast chats. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Ronette Branham, Educators with Oil podcast, and on YouTube as well, video. And then go to Facebook and join our community. I will be so excited as you do that. Join the community, Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham, because we are empowered educators and we are doing our thing. With that, thank you and have a great day. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. You know somebody who you can share this with, right? Subscribe so you'll get the notifications when we're going live, what we're doing. Again, thank you and have a great day. Stop this. I'm sorry because I don't know how to stop it. End recording. There I go. I had it.